Welcome to the Level 2 Food Safety Training course, developed specifically for those working in the food and catering industry in the United Kingdom. Whether you are an aspiring chef, kitchen assistant, server, food handler, or manager, your role in ensuring food safety is crucial. Every time food is prepared, cooked, stored, or served, there is a responsibility to uphold the highest standards of safety and hygiene. This course provides a thorough introduction to the principles and practices of food safety within the catering sector. With foodborne illnesses affecting an estimated 2.4 million people in the UK annually, understanding and applying food safety principles is not merely best practice, but a legal and moral imperative. The course is structured into 4 core elements and begins here with an in-depth examination of what food safety truly means and the types of hazards that can jeopardize it. By the end of this element, you will understand the importance of food safety, the types of contamination that can occur, the risks posed by different hazards, and how these can be effectively managed in the workplace. This foundation will support your continued learning in subsequent elements. Food safety encompasses all the practices used to prevent foodborne illnesses and contamination. It is a multidisciplinary concern involving microbiology, chemistry, behavioral science, and law. The consequences of unsafe food are far-reaching and severe. According to the Food Standards Agency, FSA, foodborne illness results in around 20,000 hospitalizations and approximately 500 deaths each year in the UK. These are not abstract numbers. They represent real people who become seriously ill, often from avoidable mistakes. For catering businesses, lapses in food safety can lead to devastating outcomes: financial loss, legal prosecution, business closure, and lasting damage to reputation. Even a single incident of food poisoning can attract negative media coverage and drive away customers permanently. Moreover, vulnerable groups, including the elderly, infants, pregnant women, and those with weakened immune systems, are disproportionately affected by foodborne pathogens. For these individuals, what might be a minor illness for others could prove fatal. Safe food handling is therefore not just a matter of compliance, but one of ethical responsibility and professional pride. To grasp the full scope of food safety, one must consider the entire food supply chain. This journey, often described as farm to fork, includes food production, processing, transportation, storage, preparation, cooking, and service. At every stage, food is vulnerable to contamination. Let's consider a common catering ingredient: chicken. From the moment a chicken is slaughtered, the risk of contamination with pathogens such as Campylobacter or Salmonella becomes present. If the meat is improperly stored, not maintained at the correct temperature during transport, or handled without good hygiene in the kitchen, harmful bacteria can thrive. Even at the final stage, poor cooking techniques or cross-contamination with ready-to-eat foods can result in serious health consequences for customers. The sheer number of handovers and environmental exposures means that robust food safety practices are necessary at every link in the chain. Staff must be trained to identify weak points and implement effective control measures accordingly. Consistent documentation and temperature monitoring are vital. Food contamination refers to the presence of harmful substances or organisms in food that can cause illness or injury. Contamination can occur at any stage of the food production and handling process and is generally classified into 4 types. Biological contamination caused by harmful microorganisms such as bacteria, viruses, parasites, and fungi. Chemical contamination occurs when chemicals like cleaning agents, pesticides, or food additives are improperly used or stored. Physical contamination involves the accidental introduction of foreign objects such as glass shards, metal fragments, or plastic into food. Allergenic contamination happens when food contains allergens not declared or expected, causing potentially life-threatening reactions. Each type of contamination requires specific strategies for control and prevention. Understanding the differences between them helps food handlers apply appropriate safety practices in various scenarios. Biological hazards, particularly bacteria, are responsible for most food poisoning cases in the UK. Common culprits include Campylobacter, responsible for over 280,000 cases annually, typically associated with undercooked poultry. Salmonella, found in raw eggs and meat, can cause severe gastrointestinal distress. E. coli 0157, a dangerous strain that can lead to kidney failure, often linked to undercooked minced meat. Listeria monocytogenes, notable for its ability to grow at refrigeration temperatures, a serious concern for chilled ready-to-eat foods. These pathogens multiply rapidly under warm, moist, and protein-rich conditions. The danger zone for bacterial growth is between 5 degrees Celsius and 63 degrees Celsius. It is therefore vital to cook food thoroughly, generally to at least 75 degrees Celsius, and store high-risk items below 5 degrees Celsius. Viruses such as norovirus and hepatitis A also pose serious risks, often spread via contaminated water or infected food handlers. Preventing biological contamination relies heavily on effective cleaning, thorough cooking, proper storage, and rigorous hand hygiene. Chemical contamination may be less common, but its effects can be severe. The FSA reports that incidents involving chemical contamination often result in hospitalization. Common sources include cleaning agents, detergents, sanitizers, and disinfectants used in the kitchen must be stored separately from food and clearly labeled. Pesticides, traces may remain on unwashed produce or packaging. Food additives, excessive or incorrect use can render food unsafe. Clear procedures must be followed when using and storing chemicals. Staff should be trained to never decant cleaning products into unlabeled containers and to follow manufacturers' guidelines for dilution and use. Color-coded cleaning equipment helps prevent cross-contamination between different zones. Documentation such as COSHH, control of substances hazardous to health assessments, and material safety data sheets, MSDS, should be readily available and understood by staff. Physical hazards involve non-edible items that accidentally enter food, posing a risk of injury or choking. These contaminants include glass from broken containers or light bulbs, metal shards from worn equipment, plastic fragments from packaging, hair, nails, or jewelry from staff. Such incidents often result from poor maintenance or staff carelessness. For example, broken thermometers or cracked food containers must be replaced immediately. Staff should wear appropriate protective clothing including hairnets, beard covers, and remove jewelry before handling food. Routine inspections, equipment checks, and clear reporting lines for damaged tools or unsafe conditions are essential in mitigating physical contamination. Businesses may also use metal detectors or X-ray machines in high-volume environments to prevent physical contaminants from reaching consumers. Food allergies affect roughly 2 million people in the UK, and allergic reactions can range from mild itching to anaphylaxis, which can be fatal within minutes. Under the Food Information Regulations 2014, 14 allergens must be clearly identified in all food products. These include nuts, milk, eggs, fish, shellfish, sesame, soya, gluten-containing cereals, and others. Cross-contact occurs when a small amount of an allergen inadvertently ends up in a food that shouldn't contain it. This can happen through shared utensils, contaminated surfaces, improper storage. Staff must be trained to read labels carefully, store allergenic ingredients separately, and communicate clearly with customers. Menus should include allergen declarations, and verbal information must be accurate and reliable. The tragic death of teenager Natasha Ednan Laprousse in 2016 due to undeclared sesame seeds in a pre-packaged sandwich has led to stricter laws, such as Natasha's Law, enforcing clearer labeling on pre-packed foods for direct sale. Cross-contamination is the unintentional transfer of contaminants from one surface, food, or utensil to another. It is a major cause of both allergen-related and biological contamination in catering environments. Common scenarios include using the same chopping board for raw meat and salad without cleaning, handling money or rubbish before returning to food prep without washing hands, storing raw and cooked foods together. Preventative strategies include color-coded equipment, e.g., red boards for raw meat, green for vegetables, strict hand-washing protocols, segregated storage, cleaning schedules with appropriate sanitizers. Every food handler must remain alert to the risk of cross-contamination, and employers must enforce a food safety culture where good habits are second nature. In this element, we have explored the critical importance of food safety within the catering sector. We looked at the scale of foodborne illness in the UK and its consequences, the food chain and points where contamination can occur, the 4 key types of contamination: biological, chemical, physical, and allergenic, key pathogens and how they spread, practical measures to identify and control hazards. Maintaining food safety requires not just knowledge, but a committed and consistent application of that knowledge. Everyone in a catering environment must understand their role in keeping food safe, not just to comply with the law, but to protect lives. You have now completed Element 1 of the Food Safety Level 2 course. To proceed to the next element, you must answer 5 questions based on the element correctly. Good luck!